They say betrayal from a lover hurts, but when the betrayal comes from your own mother, it feels like your soul forgets how to breathe, like your chest caves in, quietly, permanently, and no one notices but you. My name is Angela. I'm 33 years old, and I know what it means to lose everything, not in one blow, but in slow, excruciating slices, by the hands of those you loved the most. Before the chaos, there was calm. Before the betrayal, there was magic. I met Eric 6 years ago at a charity fundraiser for women entrepreneurs. It was a Saturday night in early spring, the kind where everything smells like beginnings, wet grass, cherry blossoms, and hope. I was there with my best friend, fidgeting with my dress, sipping bad champagne, awkward, in heels. I hadn't broken in. I didn't want to be there. I'd just gotten out of a situationship with a man who ghosted me the second I said the word future. I was emotionally hungover and wearing mascara I found at the bottom of my purse. Then I saw him, across the room. Tall, sharp-dressed, calm. The kind of calm that makes you feel like you're the only chaotic thing in the world, and somehow, that's okay. He wasn't flashy, didn't have the loud laugh or the sales pitch charm most men try to weaponize in rooms like that. He just noticed things. He noticed my shoes. How much pain are you in on a scale from fine to why did I come here? He asked. I laughed. We started talking, and I didn't stop for 3 hours. He listened, really listened. Asked about my work, my dreams, my childhood. I told him things I hadn't told anyone in years, about growing up without a dad, about my fear of being too much, or worse, not enough. Eric owned a small but promising design firm. He loved dogs, hated olives, and tapped his fingers in rhythm whenever he was thinking. He talked about architecture like it was poetry, about home like it was something you build, not just live in. By the end of the night, I gave him my number. He didn't use a cheesy line or promise to call. He just said, "I'd like to see you again when I can actually hear your voice over the jazz band." I smiled all the way home. We went out the next week, and the week after. He brought me flowers once, not roses, but marigolds. Said he picked them because they looked brave. 4 months in, I told him I loved him. He didn't say it back right away. He just held my face and said, "I've never felt this safe with someone before." That was enough for me. I introduced him to my mother around month 5. Gloria, my North Star, my spine. The woman who raised me on grit and bedtime stories, who could make a casserole from scraps and still leave room for dessert. Gloria was elegance wrapped in resilience. She worked 2 jobs for most of my childhood, but never let me see her break. She gave me structure and softness, rules and reasons to bend them. She was my everything. So, when she met Eric, I was nervous. They met over dinner. Meatloaf, roasted carrots, too much wine. She studied him the way only mothers can, measured him with quiet eyes. "He reminds me of someone I used to love," she said after dessert. "He's good for you." I remember feeling relief and pride, like the 2 people I trusted most had nodded at each other across some invisible bridge. I didn't know then that they were building something else, something I'd later wish I had burned to the ground. The first time something felt off was our 1-year anniversary. I planned a surprise, his favorite lunch from that tiny Thai place we loved, the one tucked behind a bookstore. Spicy noodles, spring rolls, and that awful pineapple soda only he could stomach. I took a cab to his office, excited like a teenager. His assistant opened the door and froze. "Oh, I thought he was with your mom," she said. "She picked him up about an hour ago." I blinked. "My mom?" She nodded. "Yeah," said it was a surprise. I laughed, confused, but I convinced myself it was sweet. Maybe they were planning something together. He loved surprises. So did Gloria. Later that night, I asked him about it. Casually, he said he'd been at a supplier's office, that his phone died, looked me right in the eye, and I believed him. Because believing a lie is easier than tearing down the world you worked so hard to build. Besides, why would I doubt my mother? Months passed. Things were normal, mostly. Except they weren't. Eric was quieter, always distracted. He smiled, but the smile felt borrowed. Once, I found a lavender scarf under the passenger seat of his car. I held it up, raising a brow. He shrugged. Your mom left it. I gave her a ride last week. It smelled like her. That soft signature scent, lavender vanilla. I smiled, but something in my stomach knotted. Still, I said nothing. Then came the message. A random Tuesday. I had a headache and stayed home while Eric ran errands. I was curled on the couch with tea when his iPad, synced to our cloud, lit up with a notification. Message to G. Same time tonight? I can't stop thinking about yesterday. My breath caught. G? Gloria? Number? It had to be someone else. Gina. Gabby. Another message buzzed in. I miss your perfume, that lavender vanilla. You wore it the first night we... I dropped the iPad. No. It couldn't be. Lavender vanilla wasn't just a scent. It was hers. Not similar. Exact. That scent had lived in my memory since childhood. It was the smell of hugs and nightlights. Now, it felt like poison. I didn't confront him. Not yet. Instead, I got quiet. I bought a discreet camera online. Small, Wi-Fi enabled. Installed it behind the guest room bookshelf. Then I waited. 3 days passed. 3 long nights of silence and dread. I smiled at dinner. Slept beside him. Pretended. Until Friday. Eric left around 7 p.m. Said he was grabbing drinks with a client. 30 minutes later, a motion alert buzzed on my phone. I pulled up the live feed. And there it was. Eric. Unlocking our front door. And behind him, Gloria. Laughing. Comfortable. Like they belonged. She kissed his cheek. He took her coat. They went to the kitchen. Opened wine. Sat on the couch. Not a fling. Not a mistake. A rhythm. A habit. I watched in numb silence as my husband leaned in, his hand on her thigh. Her laughter, so familiar, so wrong, echoed off the walls of my trust. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just watched. The next morning, I said nothing. That night, I waited for him on the couch. Calm. When he walked in, I said, "Sit." He did. I pressed play on the camera footage. His face didn't change much. No panic, no begging, just a quiet, breathless, it just happened. I asked, "How long?" He looked at the floor. "Before you and I got serious." Before. Meaning, he was with her first. Meaning, I was the other woman. That night, I packed a bag and left. Where did I go? The only place that ever felt safe. The only place I thought was still mine. My mother's house. I banged on the front door until my knuckles burned. She opened it slowly, like she'd been expecting me. Robe tied, rollers in her hair, calm. Like this wasn't the unraveling of her daughter's world. I stood there, half crying, half laughing, and said, "I know, I saw everything." She didn't gasp, didn't deny, didn't even flinch. She just exhaled, long and slow. Like she was tired of carrying a secret that had grown too heavy. "I loved him first," she said softly. I blinked. "What? You took him from me." My laugh came out broken. "You were with him before me." Her eyes were glassy, far away. "He was mine," she whispered, "before he ever looked at you." I stumbled into the house and sank into the kitchen chair. The same chair where she used to braid my hair, where she iced birthday cakes and mended torn uniforms. Now she was telling me she'd been sleeping with my husband. Before he was my husband, she poured herself a drink. Didn't offer me one. "He was in university when we met," she said. "I was mentoring small business owners. He was sharp, ambitious, lost. I helped him with his business plan, and more." I stared at her. "He was 23. You were 47, she said. Age never scared him. My throat tightened. "You seduced him." I loved him, she snapped. And he loved me. But he wanted normal, stability. That's why he married you. I stood up, shaking. You watched me fall in love with him. You made it easy, she said, almost bitter. You were always so perfect. Little Miss Second Chance. You stole him. That broke me. Stole? I didn't even know he existed until she introduced us. But now it made sense, the way she smiled too long around him, the way she asked about him more than most mothers would, the way he sometimes looked guilty. All of it, lined up like dominoes. I left with nothing but my keys and a scream trapped in my throat. A week later, I came back to collect some things. She was out. I went to the attic. I don't know why. Maybe I was looking for proof, or answers, or maybe closure. Instead, I found a box. Inside, old letters. Dozens, some yellowed, folded into delicate halves, all in Eric's handwriting, all addressed to G. My mother. One letter was dated 2 weeks before our wedding. I'll do what you said, I'll marry her, but it's always you. I felt my stomach turn, like the world had tilted. Another letter. Angela suspects nothing, she loves me, but not like you do. Another. After the wedding, we'll figure it out. I'll come back to you. I read until the words blurred. They had played me, planned it, used me as a pawn in their twisted game. I stumbled into the bathroom and threw up in her sink, wiped my mouth with trembling hands. Then I saw something else in the mirror. Me. But not the woman I used to be. This woman was broken, but awake. Fully, painfully awake. Weeks later, I missed my period. I thought it was stress, trauma, my body trying to reset. But then came the fatigue, the nausea. I took a test, positive. I stared at the lines for a full hour, then took another, and another. 3 pink crosses later, I laughed, and then I cried, and then I called him. Eric picked up on the second ring. His voice, soft, cautious. I told him. He said all the right things, said he was done with Gloria, said it was a mistake, that he wanted to start over, move, raise the baby, be a real family. I didn't believe him. Not entirely. But I needed to believe in something. And then the hospital called. The hospital receptionist was polite, cheerful even. She just needed to confirm some emergency contact information. Are you Angela Monroe? She asked. Yes, I said cautiously. And you're the wife of Eric Thompson? I paused. Yes, she continued, casual as sunshine. We have him listed as the emergency contact for a patient here. Gloria Monroe. She's just delivered. Twin boys. Silence. Time stopped. My ears rang. I thought I'd misheard. Excuse me? I asked, my voice cracking. The woman repeated it, a little slower this time. Gloria Monroe. She gave birth this morning. Eric Thompson is listed as the father. The phone slipped from my hand and hit the floor. I was on my knees before I even realized it. Twin boys. My mother, my husband, a child in my belly, and now 2 more, just born of the same betrayal. I couldn't breathe. I remember crawling to the bathroom, collapsing on the tiles, screaming into a towel so loud I ruptured my voice. I screamed until I was hoarse, until I saw stars. Then everything went black. When I came to, I was staring at the ceiling. The fan spun slow circles above me, as if mocking how fast my life had unraveled. My mother, pregnant at 53, and no one questioned it, because lies, when told often enough, become invisible. Eric had gotten us both pregnant within weeks, while swearing love to one and whispering obsession to the other. I wanted to disappear. Instead, I packed 3 bags, cash, documents. Prenatal vitamins. I left no note, no forwarding address, just a home full of rot. I moved 3 states away, changed my last name, cut my hair, started over. Silence became my safest friend. I gave birth in a small clinic under a new identity. My son was born with his father's eyes, but mine in the way they guarded themselves. I named him Caleb, which means wholehearted. Because he was the only thing left in me that wasn't broken. Eric found me once. I don't know how. Maybe he followed a digital breadcrumb I missed. Maybe he always knew how to find me, the way predators smell blood. He showed up outside the diner I worked at, looking thinner, paler. Angela, he breathed, like my name was a prayer. I turned, but I didn't run. What do you want? His voice cracked. I just want to talk. I let him. Because closure isn't something you ask for, it's something you take. He said he was sorry, said Gloria tricked him, said he never meant for it to go so far. I smiled. I read the letters, Eric. He froze. I leaned closer. You were never a victim. You were just weak. He blinked, lips parting. I continued. I used to think I needed answers, needed to understand how you could destroy me like that. I stepped closer, inches from his face. But now I know. You didn't destroy me. I tapped my chest. You made me. He started to speak, but I walked away. That was the last time I saw him. Gloria never reached out. Of course not. She had her victory, her son, her grandson, yes, because my son and her son are biologically half-siblings, and uncle and nephew at the same time. A genetic knot of betrayal. They live together now, I hear. Some small town, still toxic, still twisted, but I don't care. Because karma doesn't wear a watch. It doesn't schedule its vengeance. It shows up when you least expect it. And when it does, it doesn't knock. It kicks the damn door in. I've rebuilt. Brick by brick, scar by scar. My son is 5 now. He loves dinosaurs and blueberry pancakes and sleeps with a nightlight shaped like the moon. He doesn't know where he came from. He doesn't know the chaos he was born into. And if I have anything to do with it, he never will. Because I may not have had a choice in how my story started. But I get to write the ending. And this ending doesn't belong to them. There are moments in life that break you. And moments that rebuild you from the inside out. But those middle moments, the quiet ones, are where real healing happens. Mine came in a grocery store, a little corner shop near my apartment. I was holding Caleb's hand as we walked through the produce aisle. He saw a mango and squealed, "Mommy, the orange fruit!" I laughed. "That's a mango, baby." He grinned and hugged my leg. Just hugged me for no reason. And right there, next to the avocados and bruised bananas, I started to cry. Not because I was sad, but because I realized I'd survived. I hadn't just lived through betrayal. I'd risen from it. I got a job as a school administrator, modest pay, but steady. Caleb goes to daycare nearby. He paints, builds towers, loves puzzles. Every night, we have story time. He picks a different book, but always asks the same question at the end. Was that a happy ending? At first, I didn't know how to answer, because my story didn't feel like one. Not with the scars, not with the nightmares, not with the broken trust that still makes me check door locks 3 times before bed. But lately, I've started to believe in something softer. Not quite happiness, but peace. Eric emails sometimes. Once a month, like clockwork, he says things like, "I think about you every day. I still love you. I wish we could talk." I don't reply. Some ghosts are better left unread. Gloria doesn't write, doesn't call. I found out through a mutual acquaintance that her health is failing. Liver problems, stress, age, karma whispering its long, slow lullaby. She's being cared for by a nurse now. Eric's too busy raising their son, who's also his nephew. That child is innocent, like mine. A twisted family tree they planted in poison. But I've uprooted mine. And I've started anew. I journal now. Every night I write one truth. Sometimes it's simple. I made it through today. Sometimes it's harder. I miss the woman I used to be. But always I end with this. I am still standing. I share my story now, anonymously. Women reach out to me, women who've been broken by lovers, friends, parents. They say, "How did you survive? How did you not lose your mind?" And I tell them the truth. I did lose it. For a while. But sometimes losing your mind is just your soul demanding a reset. And in that reset, you learn what you're really made of. Not porcelain, not sugar, not softness, but steel and fire. I look at Caleb sleeping beside me some nights and wonder what he'll think when he's older, when he starts asking where his dad is, why grandma never visits, what happened before he could understand. And I've decided I'll tell him the truth. One day, but not today. Today, he gets to believe in heroes and bedtime songs. Today, he gets to be a boy who thinks mangoes are orange and love is simple. And I get to be his mother, his protector. He's proof that the human heart can be broken and still beat louder than ever, because betrayal doesn't always kill you. Sometimes it buries you alive. But if you claw hard enough, cry long enough, fight like hell, you don't just come back, you come back untouchable.